Good morning, good morning, good morning, Facebook Live. Happy Thursday morning here. We got a beautiful sunshiny day down here in Virginia. I wanted to share some powerful insights I got this morning from Albert Einstein from 1938. I was trying to log on with my home computer. It may have done it, it may not have. As you can see, I got my purple pen here, which is enlightenment. As you see my chart here, I posted this on my page here. The purple at the top, the blue, that's the chakras right there. The green, the yellow, the orange, and the red. We talk about that in the Rises One book. I know we are getting ready to log on to a coaching call here, but I wanted to come with you guys and share these powerful insights, man. This is some deep stuff. So I know I just got the message here with Eric. Eric, when you watch this, thank you so much for all your hard work on the Rises One, the Spiritual Awakening website. That'll be launched very shortly, probably tomorrow, maybe even later on today. I was looking at some of the stuff on there, very powerful stuff, and it talks a lot about how do we raise our level of vibration. We've been talking about this a long time. So I'm going to read something here from, I posted on my wall here as well this morning, and then talk a little bit about this chart here and going from the alpha point to the omega point. And at the bottom of this chart is talk about your contracted and how small we create ourselves. The top part talks about your expansion. And I want to talk about four main things. Is going to be our willingness, our acceptance, love, and enlightenment, which is the ultimate consciousness. So for some of you guys, it's going to be very deep, but know that go back and watch this several times. Like I talk about in my book, you have to read this stuff multiple times to really understand it, because it goes so deep that most of us are surface level. But when we go deep, we take on a whole different energy of enlightenment. Ultimately, it becomes so it starts with anything above 310. The hertz of 310 frequency up to 700 is enlightenment. So 310 is willingness, 350 is acceptance. I'm going to talk about those two today. Reason is 400 when we start to reason with things. 500 is the love energy. Joy, we talk about this a lot. Joy, and then living in peace, we've been talking about a lot. When you're in that peaceful state, that's 600 hertz, and 700 plus is enlightenment. When you get to 700 plus, those are like the monks. Those are Jesus when he walked the earth. These guys are super enlightened. To get to that space, you have to go out to like Hawaii and Peru and the Himalayan mountains and just sit up there and meditate for hours and days on end to get to that space. But most of us have to go out there and feed our families and pay bills and all that stuff. So we cannot have the opportunity to do all those things. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you guys for continuing to show up every single day. You see, I'm in a very peaceful state right now. I was just reading this stuff this morning. I got into that love energy state, that joy state, that peaceful state. And every day I do this. Every day I wake up, I get into that moment of a time in my life I was joyful, peaceful, love, gratitude, thankfulness. This is a powerful part. We talk a lot about this in the book. I have, like I said, this package is getting ready to roll out here. We're going to launch the Spiritual Awakening package. It talks and teaches the exact detail of how you can get to this space if you so choose. And we as mammals on this earth have the opportunity to choose. We are the only ones that have the opportunity to choose. Everybody else's path is already dictated for them. So first and foremost, thank you guys for continuing to like and share and comment. Thank you all the private messages. I mean, I can't tell you the number of lives that are touched by these videos that come back and touch my life. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that. And that's what we're going to talk about a lot in this chart here. How do we get to this different state of consciousness? How do we raise the level of consciousness? So I first want to start with this, reading what we posted this morning here. Love has to be one of the most misused and bastardized words around. It is commonly used, or should we say abused word in our language. We talk about love, we write about love, we sing about love, and we declare that we love doing and eating things that harm our body, and we often kill each other in the name of love. The absurdity of this situation is that whether we admit it or not, love is something that we all desperately crave and want, and yet love is something we all already are in essence, despite the fact that we might not be aware of it. And that's why it's so important to raise our level of consciousness to be aware. For love is a quality of the soul, together with its siblings, joy, which is 540 hertz, truth, harmony, and stillness. And when they talk about the truth and then being in harmony, that's what happens here at the bottom of this chart. Because when we don't live our truth, we live in guilt, shame, apathy, grief, fear. Even desire is at a low vibration. That is our contracted state, our small self. So we have a small self and we have a higher self. If we want to operate at the small self, we live in shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger. All those negative emotions. But when you get to the expanded state of willingness, 310 hertz, acceptance, once we accept where we are, guess what? We can move forward. It's like Alcoholics Anonymous, food addictions, gambling. Until you accept that you have a challenge, you can never move forward. And you get stuck in your small self. Until you accept where you are, you will be stuck in your small self. And that's pretty freaking deep. Then we go into love, which is 500 hertz, which is what I wanted to talk about today with what I was reading this morning, which just blew my mind. I was meditating on this, about how Albert Einstein back in 1938 talked about this. You can look up on Google. Google Albert Einstein and how his letter was released in 1938. So I was sending out prayers and love to a good friend of mine going through some health challenges this morning. And I sent this powerful message. And the person said, I can feel this. How many of us can really feel at that level of depth? Not just speaking about it, but feeling it. A neighbor of ours yesterday, we were walking down here on the path, out of nowhere walks up and hands us a bouquet of flowers. That's an act of kindness, an act of love that just came from something inside of her. How many of us can go out there and do a random act of kindness? It boosts your immune system. It boosts the person receiving. And if we have a spectator watching that, Brian, they receive it too. All three of us receive that energy. Like I said, here on this chart, you can look this up online. It's right here on my Facebook page. It talks about the frequencies. Once you set that intention and put that out there from a place of just serving and giving, your vibration changes. That's why love and peace and joy and gratitude is so powerful. Because now we're operating from that expanded state. Otherwise, we're contracting. We're one of two things. We're either growing or we're dying. The choice is ours. As long as we start to become aware, raising our level of consciousness. So I posted that chart here on my page. Study that chart, read that chart, meditate on that chart, think about it. It's some deep, deep stuff. What they say here is that the absurdity of the situation is that whatever we admit it or not, so either we're going to admit it or we don't admit it, love is something that we all desperately crave and want, and yet love is something that we all already have. In essence, despite the fact that we might not be aware of it. Love is a quality of the soul. What is soul? That's deep within you. And most of us buried it underneath all the bullshit of the challenges of our life. We pushed it way down inside of us. Especially for men. That's why we have so many challenges with colon cancers and stuff. We put all that shit down inside of us. We hold that inside. We were told growing up, men ain't supposed to cry. You're not supposed to do this. You ain't supposed to do that. And you bury those emotions and those feelings. So eventually it festers. It makes us sick. Because a body not at ease will become diseased. So I want to talk about this willingness and acceptance. So there's a willingness that you want to change your state. You want to change your vibration. You want to change from your small self to your higher self. You have to get on a journey of one step at a time. That's how and who we must become. You have to be willing to do it. The second part is acceptance. Because once you're willing, you already raise your vibration to 310. Because if you ain't willing, you're living in shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, pride. You're very prideful. Most of us, I know that was me, very prideful. I didn't want to hear any of that BS. Don't tell me I know everything. But then when I became a little bit older in life and got a little more wiser, a little more wisdom, I truly understood. And courage is 200. Once you get the courage, now you start mustering up something within inside of you, getting over that 200 hertz. Now you're in neutrality at 250. Now you're at a place of uncertainty, like, which way do I go? And then all of a sudden you get into that willingness stage, and that's the first step. You take that first step into willingness, then acceptance. Then when you get into that love state of 500 hertz, which is what Albert Einstein was talking about, that's a powerful space. Love is the most powerful force. You hear people, you can go out there and Google this and find out these stories of people that were levitated out of their bodies after they passed away. And then you can see themselves being shocked, and all of a sudden they get brought back to life and they're back into their bodies. But they were talking about this place that they went to with the white light and bliss. We can have that right here, right now, if we so choose. But we have to go through this path of enlightenment, one step at a time. We start at the red and we work our way up to the purple. And this chart is on my page. But to get to peace, to truly live in peace, takes a lot of work. To truly live in peace takes a lot of work. Are you willing to do the work? Ultimately for yourself, then your loved ones, your wife, your kids, your husband, for those around you. Because we have plenty of time to rest in peace. The challenge is to live in peace. So I hope this message resonates with somebody out there today. Today is Thursday. The sun is shining. We have an opportunity to show up, to go from our small self to our higher self, if we so choose. Look at this chart on the page. Read that message that I wrote on there. It talks about going from the alpha to the omega state. But the choice is ours. Nobody's going to make that choice for you. You have to choose. I choose to grow one step at a time. I choose to continue to move forward, because there is no path backwards. That is gone. It's history. It'll never come back again. We can use that experience to move forward, because we're either doing one or two things. We're going to learn from our experience, or we're going to win from that experience. There's no such thing as losing unless you choose to feel that. And when you feel that the empathy of that emotion of guilt, shame, apathy, grief, fear, desire, anger, being prideful, when you start taking that energy on, that's your small self. That's the ego. The egoic mind just wants to protect us. It's that simple. I have to go now, get on my coaching call. I hope this message resonates with you, so you can break free of the chains of bondage that the mind has created over a long period of time. Just so like we're going to undo that one wound at a time. Unwind the coil. Unpeel back the layer of the onion, however you choose to think of it. But something way deep down inside has been pushed down, is ready to come out. And I believe this spiritual awakening we're going through right now is a perfect time to study this. 2 messages I posted on my Facebook page here today. So thank you guys for showing up. I appreciate each and every one of you. When it's all said and done together, we'll rise as one. Have a blessed day. I love you.